Hi, I'm Ben, and this is my review on No Time to Die, the new James Bond movie. Okay, so there's a lot to talk about. So, maybe I don't know. I try to figure out what to talk about, but to talk about the other parts, there's kind of spoilers. So, spoiler alert, spoilers. Okay, so in this review, oh, sorry, just in my mustache and got some hair right here. Ignore that. Okay, so in this movie, James Bond is like the movie opens with a girl and her mother, but she was the girl from the last movie, I think. And then this guy and killed her mother. And there's a Wallace and Gromit cameo on the TV, and I know which one it was from The Wrong Trousers. I love that. I love Wallace and Gromit. But yeah, sorry. Anyways, so Wallace and so yeah, the lady, I forget her name, but yeah, she had a mother who was smoking and drinking, and then she got shot by this creepy guy in a mask that we don't know later. But then the little girl run outside and got trapped in the ice, and sorry, got a tickle in my throat. But yeah, the girl got trapped in the ice, and then the guy saved his life, but still killed her mother. But then we jump in present time, or 5 years before, but before present time, and then we see that she's with James Bond. She's having a romantic life with James Bond, but then these bad guys and the guy with the cyborg eye go with it, and then they were trying to go and try to save her life and the guy and the evil guys who were Spectre from the last movie trying to try to destroy them, and there's a cool chase with a car and a motorcycle, and it's really cool, and of all these high buildings, and it's really awesome. And then there was the car, and they're like, in the James Bond with his fiance or wife or girlfriend was like, did you did you betray me? And I'm like, no. And I'm like, are you sure? I didn't betray you, but there's a scene where they're in a car, and then they're like in the cans again, and they go, and it was really epic. And then later she left her on the train, and then the intro plays, which is pretty a cool intro, but I still have Skyfall stuck in my head. I'll always get Skyfall in my head, but yeah, in the new movie, yep, yeah, so then she left James Bond in the movies. I mean, James Bond left the girl in her train, in the train, and then it skips to 5 years later, and there's these terrorist group who I'm guessing is Spectre that kidnaps this scientist guy who tries to steal away him, and then the scientist guy was like, I got you, and then blow up these buildings, and there was this cool thing with these magnet ball things, and they were like, I got you. And then the magnets dropped this guy and the scientist, and then the scientist skipped them, and then they escaped, and then I'm trying to remember, and then they left the building. I can see why people edit these videos, because I don't know how to edit, so I'm just recording this off script, because I don't write a script for my reviews. I just do this. Sorry if I sound nervous, it might be an autism thing. But yeah, so then they got the scientist, and then since it was 5 years later, they found James Bond, and he's retired on an island or in Colombia or Cuba. Yeah, Cuba. And then Cuba he leaves, and then he's friends with this guy. He's friends with his two guys, and they try to help him, but then they try to help James Bond. But later in the movie, M hired back James Bond, but he's like commander, or there's this new lady who's a new 006 who she's pretty cool, and then Oh, and then 007, and then the new 007 tries to help her, tries to help James to find a scientist guy, and then scientist. But then after they found scientist guy, they were at this place that had all the Spectre agents. But then the scientist guy switched out the names and then replaced it with Spectre agents. So all the Spectre agents got this poison that attacked them. And then after that, they went to M. And then no wait, sorry if I'm not good at this. So then Muppet. Sorry, and M. Funny thing, but M's voice is also played by the guy who did the Lego Batman movie, who played Alfred in the Lego Batman movie. I just want to point that out. And I think he's funny. Also, I think he was in a Wallace and Gromit movie. Yeah, he played Victor Quartermain, so it's kind of funny and ironic. But yeah, M hired James Bond back and tracked them down. Then they went to Q and tried to get this information. But there's also a lot of cool action scenes. Like the part before that, there was a part where they're in Cuba and then the explosions happen. But then they got the scientist and one of his friends, because James Bond has this friend named Felix and this other guy, and then other guy turns out to be a traitor and works with them, blows up the boat. But then they found out this place, so then they go to this other place, and then Cuba, and then and the Felix guy, James Bond, he has a friend named Felix, and he got killed, which is sad. But then in Cuba, I mean not in Cuba, sorry, but then when they were finding information, they went to his ex-girlfriend's place that he thought was a traitor, but actually she's a psychiatrist, and he was interviewing the creepy guy who turns out to be the guy who was at the guy who saved her life as a little girl but killed her mother. And then he turns out to be the villain of the movie, and then he goes to this other place, and then the psychiatrist was like, oh no. But then the psychiatrist, who's her ex, James Bond's ex, and then her ex was like, and there's a funny part where it's like, where new 007 was like, does he have this effect on all women? 50-50, which is pretty funny. And then the psychiatrist was interviewing James and her dad, the evil guy from the first movie, who I know from Green Hornet, who played the guy who tried to be funny, but yeah. And the evil villain who was the head of Spectre was like, oh this, but she couldn't interview him, so he can't interrogate him, so he left. And so then the interrogation happened, and James Bond was like, oh, you're evil. But then after that, later he was like, because he has these nanobots that only affects Spectre, and because he's the head of Spectre, it killed him and he died. So later, then he goes to his ex-girlfriend's house at her place, and then discovers that she has a daughter and she's like, it's not yours. But spoiler alert, it is. James is a dad now. Yeah, he has a daughter now. Oh my gosh. But yeah, then they escape, and there's this cool car chase, and then there's like, also they kind of got back together in the movie. I mean, the James and his girlfriend, but at first I'm like, no, it affects Spectre agents, and I thought because she's her daughter, he's his daughter, and I thought no, but no, apparently it doesn't. I guess it doesn't affect her because I think it only affects because it's nanobots, so it only affects agents like agents. So, or people who are members of Spectre, but she was never a member of Spectre to begin with. So I think that's why. So yeah, after that they escape, and then they find out the evil guy who killed his mother and who killed the James's ex girlfriend who got together girlfriends. I forget their names, sorry. And but then there's cool car chase and they get captured to the island and to an island and then I'm sorry, I'm a bit tired, so it's getting and I guess that's why I'm not really speaking correctly. But then because James Bond and the little girl, because the reason why the main villain wants revenge on, because the villain of the head of Spectre killed his family, so that's why he wants revenge. But he's gonna use the nanobots to destroy the world or something. But then they're like, but then they just stop them, and they're on the island. Then everything tries to resolve itself. But then this happens at the very end after she got his daughter out and his girlfriend something, James's girlfriend something, and then they were like, launch the missiles, destroy this island. But James sacrificed himself and destroys the island, and because he got affected with this was the toxin thing that if he touches anyone they'll die or he'll die slowly anyway. So the the place got destroyed and then kaboom. Yeah, so James Bond died. So the missiles hit the island and spoiler alert, don't watch this video if you haven't seen the movie, but I guess it's too late since I talked about so many stuff. But yeah, he dies. James Bond dies. Oh, just some Lego. Yeah, and they kill off James Bond. I know James Bond in movies usually survives these kind of things, and even there's an end credit scene that says James Bond will return. Well, chances are it might be a reboot, because that's like saying in Batman or Superman or Spider-Man, saying like Spider-Man or Batman will return. And they're like, and yeah, there's a because there's no way, because they even show us, there's no way he could survive. Like, how could he have survived? And I have heard Daniel Craig says this is his last James Bond movie and he wants to do other things. So, they might do a new James Bond movie later. So, who knows who could be? Maybe they might cast a black guy as James Bond. I kind of vote for Idris Elba as James Bond, or that guy, oh, I forget his name. He was in a Doctor Who episode, but he played Manchester Black on Supergirl. Like, he could play James Bond. Like, there's that or Idris Elba. I love Idris Elba. He could do it. Yeah, I love to see. Yeah, I love to see that. So Idris Elba. But yeah, so who knows what would happen. So also, here's a funny thing about me and the James Bond movies, because I saw Casino Royale when it first came out. But I didn't saw Quantum of Solace when it came out in theaters. But then I saw Skyfall in theaters, but I didn't saw Spectre in theaters. I did not see Spectre in theaters, but I saw Skyfall. And now I saw No Time to Die in theaters, which is pretty funny. So, theaters, non-theaters, theaters, non-theaters, theaters. So, only Quantum of Solace and Spectre I didn't saw in theaters. I have seen them later, like even before I watched the movie, I recorded Spectre. So, yeah, and it did help because there's a lot of things from Spectre. But yeah. Well, that's my review. Sorry if it was all over the place. I feel like I should write a script or write something before I do all these reviews. And it just feels like if I do, because I just watched the movie today, and I feel like if I do this review tomorrow or the next day, I might forget. But I'm not really the best movie reviewer. I kind of just recap or tell what I think and have my own opinions on them, but I just tell them what I like and have fun with it. Well, I hope you enjoy my video, so if not, that's okay. So, have a nice day, and you probably might see some new videos. And also, I I mostly like to be called Benjamin in real life, but on my YouTube channel I just say, "Hi, I'm Ben." I guess because it's shorter, but I tell people I like to be called Benjamin, but on my YouTube channel, like it now says Benjamin's videos, but I usually say, "Hi, I'm Ben," so I'll try to say, "Hi, I'm Benjamin." But yeah, Benjamin. But this is my review, and hopefully you'll see some new ones, and have a nice day.